Illinois Stories is brought to you by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by the support of viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to Illinois Stories. I'm Mark McDonald in Hannibal at the Mark Twain Museum, where it's a big day here because this is release date from Mark Twain, Words and Music. Now, last night was a big night here because it was the reception for the CD release, wasn't it, Cindy Lovell?
Yep.
And you're the executive director here at the museum.
That's right.
And you had this place full of people, didn't you?
We were packed. This is the day we've been waiting for a long time, so we had a party.
And it took a lot of work. Before we go into the work it took, though, let's take a look at some of these folks who were involved in the production of this CD. Garrison Keillor, he's the voice of the narrator. Jimmy Buffett plays Huck Finn. My goodness. Clint Eastwood, the voice of Mark Twain. Down here, Emmylou Harris, she sang on the CD. It's incredible the amount of talent that you got involved in this. And let's keep moving on here. Carl Jackson, we're going to see him later. Well-known Nashville musician. Sheryl Crow sings on the CD down here. Brad Paisley sings on the CD here. Val Story, we're going to meet her. She sings. Vince Gill, Ricky Skaggs, Joe Diffie, they all had a role to play. You must have been so excited.
Over the moon. I'm a Twainiac. Anytime you can get talented people to come together and do Twain stuff, that's a good day.
Yeah, no kidding. But this wasn't just a day. This took several years to put together.
Yeah, it was a while in the making. Back in 2005, I kept thinking about 2010 coming up, which we all know now was the big year of Mark Twain, all the anniversaries. Yeah. And I had not seen my childhood friend Carl Jackson in many, many years, but I was familiar with the project he'd done that I loved, the Leuven Project, we all call it. And I just had this idea. I called him up out of the blue, and I said, maybe for 2010 we could make a CD that tells Mark Twain's life in spoken word and song. What do you think? And he loved the idea. And all these years later, here we are.
Yeah, and of course he knows everybody in Nashville.
Oh yeah.
So that he had these connections, and he works with these folks. Yeah. And so they know how talented Carl is, and they want to be in on his projects, don't they?
They love working with Carl, and of course, you can't discount the Twain factor. People love Mark Twain. Jimmy Buffett, I sent the script down to his office in Key West, and I got a phone call, and his assistant, Cindy Thompson, said he wants to meet you and talk about this. And Jimmy Buffett came on board and put us on his label. So we're actually selling the CD on the Mark Twain Words and Music on Mailboat Records, which is kind of cool.
That's really cool. And we're talking a lot about music here, but there's a lot of information that's in what I call the book here.
The book.
And you were responsible for taking Twain's words and some narrative and actually putting all this together, weren't you? Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. He's been my hero since I was 10 years old, thanks to Mr. Reese, my 4th grade teacher. And I had to pick out the best Twain. It's impossible to do that. So I had to pick Twain. I had to pick some Huck Finn for Jimmy, and of course write the narration to kind of glue it all together. And Garrison did a great job with the narration.
Well, that's super. Now we're going to hear some of the music with Carl and with Val. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Carl Jackson, ever since you graduated high school, you've been a full-time musician, haven't you?
That's correct.
Traveling all over the country.
All over the world. Not
and
just
most,
the country, but all
most
over the world.
notably, I guess your first big break was with Glenn Campbell, and you toured with him for a while, didn't you?
I did. I wouldn't call it my first big break. I had many big breaks, working with Jim and Jesse when I was a kid, playing banjo with them. But I went with Glenn in 1972, traveled with him for 12 years. One of the greatest experiences of my life.
He was hot. That group was hot, yeah.
He was huge. He was, I remember when we played in Vegas, only Elvis and Sinatra could equal the crowds we drew in Vegas, and Glenn was huge at the time I went with him. It was right after the Good Time Hour had gone off the air, and what a blessing to be able to work with such a talented man and such a good man, and I can't ever thank him enough. So it's good to be able to thank him on camera. What a good man.
Since then, you're called the best acoustic producer in Nashville by some people. You've been producing records and you've been writing music. And the reason I wanted to talk to you here in front of Mark Twain's boyhood home is the first cut that we're going to hear off this CD is called Huckleberry Finn Blues.
The Huck Finn Blues.
Which you wrote.
I did
which
write.
Brad Paisley performs on the CD.
Yes, he does. Brad actually has one of his sons named Huck. It's true story. I mean, he loves Mark Twain and he loves Huckleberry Finn. And I called Brad, and when the song was finished, and Emily Hayes and Danny Wilson co-wrote the song with me, and I called Brad, or I sent him an email with it attached. He called me before the song was finished, he literally is still listening to the song the first time, and he says, "Carl, I got to cut this." And I said, "Well, buddy, that was the idea." You know,
Okay.
I'm certainly thankful you're going to.
He's in the project now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, set up Huck Finn Blues for us. How does it relate to what we're
Well,
we are here?
it tells the story of Huck and Tom. You know, I mean, right over here in this house, here's the window where, you know, they scurry down with it. They make the little cat calls, and they'd go out to prowl the town. You know. And it's thrilling to be here, you know, and to kind of relive all this. And we tried to get all of those little things in the song, and hope people enjoy it so much. I mean, I come here and I kind of want to whitewash a fence or something, don't you?
Well, I'd rather hear this song. So let's take a listen to this song.
All right,
Okay.
great.
Sit here alone, it's about midnight, so darn lonesome, not a soul in sight. Perhaps I'm drinking in Hannibal Town, so it's through the window and I shimmy down. There's only so much sleep a boy can stand. Witching hours so close at hand. Across the alley and over the fence, the night is crackling with dark suspense. Beneath the window, against the wall, I conjure up my best cat call. Tom crawls out the window, his feet hit the ground. Like two tomcats, we'll make the rounds. It's down to the river, the old graveyard. There's no better living than living hard. High on the midnight air, a boy can be free. Just the moonlight, Tom Sawyer and me. I lie here alone, it's about daylight, so darn lonesome, not a soul in sight.
Carl, safe water. That's kind of what Mark Twain means, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. There was a leadsman that he hung out over the front end of a steamboat and dropped lead into the water. It had a lead piece every foot. He'd drop it down. He'd call out quarter Twain, half Twain, Mark Twain, which meant 2 fathoms or 12 foot.
Now, this song, which you wrote, coming up, is called Safe Water. What's it about?
Well, it's the idea came from finding that out, that's what Mark Twain meant, and that's where Samuel Clemens took his name. And I had been down in Oxford, Mississippi to an Ole Miss football game last year, and this melody had popped in my head, and it was one of the few times that I write a melody. I rarely write a melody before I write lyric. But I'd written this melody, and then I got with my good buddy Jerry Salley, and we were purposely trying to write a song for this segment. So it just, Safe Water, it just came to us, and we're like, man, that's a great title for a song. Let's write one, and it's worked out very nicely.
Mama, I won't drink, I promise I won't gamble. No matter where I go, I'll keep this vow. That steamboat whistle's calling, saying, boy, you're born to ramble. Gonna carry me and my dreams out of town. York to Cincinnati, Philadelphia to St. Louis. A new town only whets my appetite. So when I run out of river, I'll sail the ocean blue. To my wandering eyes see Athens by moonlight. Riding on safe water everywhere I roam, like the constant current, always moving on. Safe water, who knows, someday it might just bring me home. Thirsty for adventure, the world's become my stage, reflected in the countless words I write. Every day's a brand new story, every mile another page, every port another chapter of my life. Riding on safe water everywhere I roam, like a constant current, always moving on. Safe water, who knows, someday it might just bring me home. Yeah, who knows, someday it might just bring me home.
Well, Val Story, this is your second trip to Hannibal.
Yes.
You're a Nashville musician.
That's
You've
correct.
been recording for decades. Okay, we
Decades.
won't see how many decades though. And you came earlier to plan this project, and now you're here to introduce this project. How did you like working on it?
Oh, I loved it. It was an honor. If there was anything I could choose to be on, this was it.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
You all have released the CD, and we're going to get to hear some cuts off this CD. But the next one you're going to sing, and it's a very heartfelt song. What's it about? How does it fit into Twain's life?
Well, Twain, at the time, at one point in his life, had faced bankruptcy. He never did go bankrupt. But at the time, he and his wife, Livy, and their youngest daughter, they had gone together to do a tour and lived in England because it was less expensive at the time, and had left the other two girls back home in the States with family. And they were going to be reunited after 13 months of his tour, and he did great. And he had found out that his daughter was sick, one of them coming back, and that's what this leads to, and she never did get to come back and reunite with them. So.
Show me someone helping out a friend. Show me a broken man standing up again. Show me a smile in ancient eyes. I'll say love is on our side. See the little baby in her mother's arms. Daddy was a shelter, keeping her from harm. When the storm gets closer, we realize that love Tell me what you see. Listen to the dreamers sound like you and me. Hear them working hands joined to arise and see love is on our side. We're all on that train. There's where hope begins, waiting on the fringes for the world to end. Who is gonna save us? Who is gonna win? And beyond the headlights, the answer lies. Love is on our side. Love is on our side.
Carl, when you walk in the museum, one of the first things you're confronted with is Mark Twain's writing desk. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? To know this is where the man sat.
It's amazing to me.
Yeah.
It touches me deeply just to be there, you know, and just to know that he sat there and wrote those fabulous words that he wrote.
Thought and sweat and worked, and some of it probably wasn't hard work, some of it probably was.
I think I
but
want to
it
write
was
a
all
song
beautiful.
behind there someday.
You think you want to write a song? Speaking of writing a song, the reason I wanted to come here is because the next song we're going to hear that's on this CD is called Ink.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, it's a song that was started by my buddies Tony Wood and Don Portress, and I finished the lyrics on the song for them, and also wrote the melody to it. And we needed something that kind of summed up how he started out, you know, setting type for his brother, and all, you know, through his life, and how he gained and lost fortunes, and it just it almost tells his life story in one song, you know. And then how at the end he had his opinions, and everybody loved to hear his opinion, you know. And so we need, and the whole gist of the song is that it was never blood running through his veins; it was ink.
You know, and he may have loved the river, but it turns out he loved writing more. I guess,
exactly. Yeah, that was the river, his first love, but that flowing through his veins was ink.
Sometimes in the middle of doing something that you hate, you discover something that you kind of like. And when I was a kid, I went to work day after day for my brother's paper, setting up the type. Then there was a moment, it was just like lightning hit. Felt the power of the words that formed beneath my fingertips. Oh, once it was the river, that was my true love. But now as time goes by, I've come to think it ain't the muddy water flowing through my blood. No, it's ink. Oh, I began to read all I could put my hands on too. Every magazine and book that I could find. Started turning local gossip straight into the front page news, printing stories that you'd call the spicy kind. Yes, you could say that's about the time when I was truly smitten, when I saw the town's reaction to the tales that I had written. Oh, once it was the river, that was my true love. But now as time goes by, I've come to think it ain't the muddy water are flowing through my blood. No, it's ink. Oh, it took me across the ocean. It took me round the world. It took me down 1,000,000 miles of rails. And I gained and lost more fortunes than I ever thought I could. All because of something I used to scrape from underneath my nails. Now a lot of decades passed, a lot of words flowed from my pen. I've known privilege, popularity, and wealth. There are days when I would harbor such gratitude within from just seeing my own books there on the shelf. So I wrote my final chapter, and a century's gone past, and now from the great hereafter, I'm still having the last laugh. Once it was the Mississippi, oh, that was my true love. But 100 years up here made me think it was never muddy water flowing through my blood. No, it was ink.
Carl, it's almost like God had a plan when he sent Halley's Comet and sent Mark Twain at the same time.
I think so.
Yeah, it really, it's one way to mark a year, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I think he came onto this earth during when Halley's Comet,
November
and
30th,
he left.
November 30th, 1835, and he left in 1910, 75 years later with it blazing in the sky. It's amazing, and he asked to be taken out. He wanted to go out with it, and I just thought that was the most amazing story I'd ever heard. I didn't realize it. I realized he was born, but I didn't know that until we started working on the project, and I thought, man, I got to write something about this. So wrote this tune called Comet Ride, and it kind of takes it from his birth to his death, and it speaks about how God didn't want to disappoint him, so he took him out with it. It was really strange. I was here a few weeks ago performing here in Hannibal, and when I played Comet Ride, there were these shooting stars that went off over my shoulder that I didn't get to see, but much of the audience did. And I thought, Mark, you're at it again. You're doing stuff up there, buddy.
The audience was oohing and ahhing, and you thought it was all for you.
Oh, I thought it was me, but it was the Comet.
Well, the good Lord said November 30 back in 1835, let the whole world know young Samuel Clemens by the way he will arrive. When the doctor spanks that little bottom and his newborn baby cries, let a light shine bright up here in heaven and trail across the sky. Gonna take a ride on Halley's Comet for the whole wide world to see. Gonna fill the sky and they'll see him coming for a place in history. Dropped him off in old Missouri. Well, the muddy Mississippi was his Harvard and his Yale. It forever put a stamp upon the way he'd spin a tale. It brought us the adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, who taught us the fires of hell are better than betraying your best friend. Well, they took a ride on Halley's coming for the whole wide world to see. A light filled the sky, they saw him coming for a place in history. Dropped him off in old Missouri. 3/4 of a century passed and the year's 1910. Twain left some prayer, letting me go out just the way that I came in. God smiled down, said, "Dear Mark, I agree the time is right. I can't bear to see you disappointed, pick you up on Thursday night. Gonna take a ride on Halley's coming for the whole wide world to see. Gonna fill the sky, they'll see it, going for a place in history. Gonna take a ride on Halley's coming for the whole wide world to see. Gonna fill the sky, they'll see it, going for a place in history. For all eternity." Thank you, Mark.
Mark Twain, Words and Music, the CD and book, are available through the Mark Twain Museum. If you go to their website, if you order it from them, they get a little extra percentage, but it is available at other outlets as well. With another Illinois story in Hannibal, I'm Mark McDonald. Thanks for watching.
Illinois Stories is brought to you by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by the support of viewers like you. Thank you. For a DVD copy of the program you've just seen, send $19.95 to Network Knowledge, P.O. Box 6248, Springfield, Illinois 62708. Be sure to include the program name, subject, and when the program aired. You can also order with your credit card by calling 800-232-3605.